Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk. Okay,
I was like, there's no way you're going to get that in time.
I know. It's true.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
All right. Hello. We're live.
We're live.
You're wearing your colorful shirt. Is that like a sweater material or is it like a dry fit
Yeah.
material?
It's weird. It is kind of like a dry fit material. It's like polyester.
Is it like swishy? Like if it goes against you, it's kind of swishy against
It's
itself.
soft. It's smooth, but it's not swish.
It's not swishy. Okay.
It's not swishy.
Okay.
I would say it's not. It's definitely not like um sweatshirt material.
Mm-hmm. Which would be like all
Uh,
cotton or jersey kind of.
right, but it is warm and it is stretchy.
Mm-hmm. It's got some
So,
elastic or spandex in there or something.
yeah, it's the one that I found on Instagram and I was like, yeah, need that.
Yep.
That's the only time Instagram's really just got me.
The only time I
But
feel like you've bought other stuff from Instagram ads. Just that?
maybe twice. I maybe.
What was the other thing? Do you remember?
Well, sometimes Instagram gives me ideas and then I buy things that are not the same product because a lot of the time the Instagram ad is not the best product you can buy.
Do they show you like gadgets and stuff? I feel like mine are. I'm trying to remember what kind of things mine are.
Mine are nootropics to help you like be more like focused, and
Mm.
uh then that one, this one has almost got me. I swear to God, this one's almost got me because it looks really fun. There's this one exercise hula hoop thing that has like a weight on the end of it, and you like hula hoop around, and they're like, this hula hoop is, I don't know, if you like hula hoop for 30 minutes. Oh, sorry. If you hula hoop for 30 minutes, it's like running for a whole mile or something like
Is
that.
that like the old school '90s where you have the loop around your ankle and you skip over it kind of deal?
No, not a skippo. Like, not a what is that? A skippo, or it's not a skippo. It's, but no, you like put it around your waist and there's a weight on the end and you have to like make the thing go around and it looks like so much fun.
Can you
And
actually hula? I can't really. Can you do a hula hoop and keep it up?
no, but I feel like if I got this, I could,
It's
like
probably like an
eventually,
assist, right? So it kind of
yeah,
like does it.
eventually I could. And I don't want it to like lose weight necessarily, but it does look like an exercise that would be a blast. And like,
I could just see you doing
and you,
that outside your van. You're just fucking. I mean, you'd probably scare people off. Nobody would want to approach you.
I know.
You're probably
And
she's just in
I
her
it just
fucking
looks
world over there. And then you just
it
go and
looks
sit in your hammock.
yeah, it looks like so much fun. And I've almost bought it a few times on the, like, I go to Amazon and find like a cheaper version. But yeah, that one's almost got me a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much never engage with any ads on Instagram just because I know that they're gonna continue to pump it my way, and yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I do not give in.
It's
I'm
just
more heavy resistant to stuff like that just because I know what
it
it's doing and I don't want to.
yeah, I won't buy things right off the bat. That is not like, this is the only time that I've literally clicked it and been like, buy. But typically what will happen is I'll look at it and I'll be like, "Oh, that looks interesting." And then I'll do a bunch of research on it and then I'll buy another thing.
Yeah.
you know?
Sometimes I'll
Oh,
go to
wait,
the
what?
comments to just see people roast this product because they're just saying how dumb of an idea it is or whatever. Some of that is kind of entertaining, but
I feel like there was something recently that I was like, I'm such an idiot. But I can't remember what it was. That makes me sad that I can't remember what it was. But I believe that it was something that I have not used. I don't know.
hmm,
Um, but I do know there was something that I bought and I was like, this was a bad idea. I should have done more research, you know?
okay.
Yeah.
So I was separate topic. I was chatting with my mom yesterday, and she heard our chat about the hot air balloons and stuff and the parade. She gave me a little update about the Derby Festival balloon race is what they called it, but the
Oh,
way so some of the do you remember I told you they like dropped sandbags on an X on the ground?
yeah, yeah.
So the winner of that is the one that they call it the hair balloon. I think it's like
Ooh,
HARE.
like a rabbit, hair
And
rabbit.
then what they do is they will lead the next year. So they will be the first to take off the following year, and then you know, the landing spot where the X is completely dependent on the wind. So like they can't really choose ahead of time where that X is going to be. So the hair balloon takes off, they go wherever, and then they drop down, they put the X down, and then they tell people where it is, and then they follow from there. There's still a lot of them that don't actually like get there because the wind is, whatever. But that's kind of how they determine where the landing spot is, where the
That's
sandbags are going to be
wild.
dropped are going to be. So that's kind of how it works. And she said, they land all over the place. So like one time they landed in this like, school baseball field over by my grandparents' house. So they just happened to land there because that's where they could safely do it. And, the van follows them or whatever. And then they pick it up and all that stuff. But yeah, I think she said sometimes we used to like follow them and try to like, see where one of them landed or something.
Oh, that's fun.
But yeah, that was a little extra context because I was thinking there was a specific X, but in a specific spot, but it's the first balloon that takes off decides where the X is going to go.
Yeah,
Just because you can't control where it's going to take you for the most part. So
yeah.
that was pretty interesting. And there was there was one that was like a really big cow, apparently, like the Dean's Milk brand, I think, was a cow.
Oh,
And then they had, of course, not surprising, they had a big Kentucky bourbon bottle
oh, yeah.
as one of
Yep,
them. And then there's
yeah.
a bunch of other like, fancy color ones and design ones. So,
So, fun story about your mother today, which is another reason why I love her so much. Um, I called her because I was having a life crisis involving insurance, health insurance, and I tried to call my mom, and she's on a cruise, and I forgot. And so I couldn't call her. And so then I called your mom, and then she didn't answer. And then I was having a beer later after I had pretty much figured out the crisis. And
hmm,
I was like, I'm sorry, I'm drinking a beer right now. And she's like, oh, that's fine. Call me later. Have a beer for me. And then she hung up the phone. And I was like, I love that your mom's
she
like,
doesn't
have a
like
drink for
beer.
me.
She doesn't
Well,
drink
she said,
beer.
have a drink for me. I think
Oh,
I said I
okay.
was at a bar,
Yeah.
but I love that she's just like,
But what could she have
per-
answered like quickly that your mom wasn't available? Like just asking general questions about.
it was not a quick question.
Oh, okay.
I was just needing of moral support and guidance. Like,
Oh,
I
okay.
needed
A
motherly
sounding board.
guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
so
Okay.
that's what I called.
So you just had to figure it out, and it sounds like you did.
Yeah, kind of. I got good news. I'm so poor that Tennessee is giving me $340 in credits towards insurance.
Yeah.
So I
Is it a plan through the state kind of thing as
yeah,
well?
care like healthcare.gov, and I was like, if I get this plan, am I like, what happens if I have to go to the doctor when I'm in Utah? You know?
Hmm.
So that's what I was trying to figure out. But turns out it's only emergencies. So
You can only
yeah.
use it for emergencies
Well,
or
I
like
can't
urgent
like go
care.
to a doctor. Yeah, I can't like go to a doctor in Utah
Oh,
and
you
it be
can't use it for
covered.
preventative health. You have to go
Yeah,
to a general practitioner in Tennessee if you're going to use it
right.
for that. You can only go to like
Yeah,
urgent care or something like that in Utah.
right.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
that.
makes
But it,
sense.
yeah, it makes sense. So yeah,
Hmm.
I also got new glasses
I see. Yeah. You got 3 pair or 4 pair?
for.
4. Okay.
I got two. I got them from Voo Glam. If anybody is interested in my fun glasses, VOOGLAM. Um, and I got two pairs that were like the cheap ones, like $20 to $30, and then I got one pair that's for driving that was like $80, and then one pair that has sunglasses that was $80. So I figured
And
spending
they're
a
all
little
for
extra,
prescription and
yeah,
sweet.
spending a little extra, like all the frames were the same. It was just the lenses,
Right.
like adding in the driving was really important because I'm going to be driving at night and like I don't want to have glare and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
anti-glare stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, I
yeah.
haven't got glasses in a bit, probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Because I think the last time I went to the eye doctor, my prescription didn't change from like the year and a half prior to when I went. So I feel like the last time I went, about a year and a half ago, didn't change from a year and a half before that. So
Yeah, but you got new glasses like last year. I remember because I did the vote.
yeah, but I just did the exact same prescription. So I should probably go to
Yeah.
the eye doctor just to get a quick check because our eye insurance with my company is free, so you can go get eye exams for nothing. I think once a year.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my exact same prescription from last year and it's technically expired. The prescription is. So, the online stuff lets you put in just the numbers.
Right,
They
right, right.
don't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it was like I put them on today and I was like, wow, so clear.
Well, yeah. When
It
I saw
looked
you got them, one of the pair, I was like, "Are do you even have?" I think it was the blue and orange pair. I was like, "Are there even lenses in there?" Because they look
I
or
think
because they look so
yeah,
clear.
I tried these ones on first, I think, and they were so clean that I put them on and I was like, am I even wearing glasses? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, that was cool. How was your week?
It's pretty good. I don't have a lot on the calendar, so it's nice to actually get some studio time in. I've been cranking away at the mug club things. Did some decal work last night, got some throwing done, and going through that. I'm still like, so I've got a good, I told the guy at the brewery that I've got a solid 70 ready to go, like 35 of each, like because they're two different color glazes. So,
Yeah.
1 to 35 of 2 sets. And I'm like, okay, I want to like get these off my hands. Like I want to get them to you as I get the other numbers filled in. But yeah, in reality I've probably got I just did a decal firing. I think there were about 40 in there, maybe 30. So I've probably got about another 30, probably about another 40 that are going to be finished when this decal comes out.
Okay.
So I'll be at about 110, and then I've got a bunch of bisqueware. So I feel like I've got it. It's to me, I'm like I feel like it's counterproductive to just start counting everything and try to get it. I mean, I'm feeling good when I get pieces finished, but I feel like it's a little counterproductive for me to keep counting bisqueware and stuff.
Mhm.
But I feel like I'm getting to that point. I probably need to. Um, Bisque and glazed, I'm probably sitting at about 150, I think.
Okay.
So
Are you gonna be good for December? Do you need help?
no, I think I will be good.
Okay.
Like I just threw, I think, I'm trying to think if I threw 18. I think I threw about 18 on Sunday.
Okay.
So like I can handle those. And I just got another, well, I just bisque fired those. So I probably got about 40 bisque fired, I think.
Okay.
So, I think I'm good to glaze, and then we'll get to about 150. I just want to get some in his hands so that he's feeling good about it, and then
Yeah.
get the next batch going. So that's the main focus right now. And I feel like I should be doing some other things, but I'm like, I need to just focus on that just to, it's a little monotonous to keep doing the handles and stuff, but
Yeah.
they're looking good. So yeah, so I talked with you a couple days ago about like, okay, cause I've habitually been like having issues with like the volume and second guessing myself. And I make, I made some a little too big, and I made the first batch way too small.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, there's a batch of them that are like holding 24 ounces instead of 20 ounces. And I had the first batch that was like 17 ounces instead of 20. So I'm like, okay, can I do some measurements at Bisqueware and like what size mugs, height, width are good at Bisqueware, putting them through the glaze and figuring out what the volume is. And then like, okay, here's what this height and width Bisqueware is going to yield volume wise. But that's not like an exact measurement. It's just kind of like a guess because I don't make them so perfect from one to the next. So I'm like, okay, that gives me something to say. Okay, if this Bisqueware is this size, it should hold about this much. And then there's some that are like a little off. So then I was going through like, is there a way that I can measure the volume in water at Bisqueware stage and just pour the water in them, get a rough guess of how much water it holds, document that, and then kind of group them by volume at Bisqueware, and then put them through the glaze, see how much they hold after glaze, and then kind of use that as a barometer of like, okay, if they hold about 24 ounces at Bisqueware, are they going to end up holding 20 ounces at glazed? So like that gives me a little more confidence, but I don't know if I'm just confusing myself because it's already bisque. Like the only time wasted is that I accidentally glaze something and then I have to remake the number. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm spinning my wheels too much and worrying about it, or if I should just get them through the process. I think I'm trying to save myself from having too many glazed pieces that are not usable with numbers on the bottom, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny because are you using the laser level yet?
I didn't get the laser level.
I thought you did.
I was going to, but I didn't.
Well, that was a mistake.
Well, the last 3 throwing sessions, I've pretty much narrowed it into like, okay, 6 1/4 to 4 1/4 is pretty much the exact measurements I need. So I feel like you don't need to send me a laser level.
I have an extra.
You have an extra one? What do you mean? You have 2 of them?
Yeah, I have no fucking clue how I got 3 laser levels, but I had.
But 3. I only need to make like 50 more. Is it worth doing the laser level for 50 if I've already thrown enough? I feel like that's a learning curve of like I gotta set it up and shit, and I don't know that.
Well, it might be.
I mean, maybe it'll be good
nice
for the future.
Yeah, I think it might be nice for the future.
I mean, one thing I think the laser
batteries,
level would definitely improve would be having a straighter side, because some of them, if the sides aren't perfectly straight, it makes the decals harder to put on smoothly. So like I can see where having a laser line would take some of that guesswork out.
Yeah, what's funny is that I sent the Beals a laser level, and now I'm gonna send you a laser level. I was thinking about it when I forgot to update about my weekend.
Yeah.
But you can continue your update. And
I mean, that was pretty much it. That was my thought process. Okay. So for anybody out there doing mug clubs, like maybe because I was trying to guess like, okay, what's the shrinkage rate from bisqueware to glazedware? Is it a standard? I was like, is it like half of what the total clay shrinkage is from wet to dry to glazed, which my clay's like 12%. I'm like, okay, it's probably about 6% between bisque and glaze. I don't think that's accurate. It's actually more than that. It's like, I think it's like 10 to 12%, which is it's counterintuitive, but I think it doesn't mean that like the true shrink rate is not 12%. I think it just means it's 10% from bisque to glazed, which is still like a percentage of the total shrinkage. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out if volume is a barometer. I think it is, but I'm still not totally scientifically settled on it. But yeah, that's it.
I think that most of the people that have been listening to our podcast for more than 3 years are with me when I say there's a reason that we don't do mug clubs. And this is it. No, everybody needs, but I know everybody needs to go through this learning curve. And it will definitely, mug clubs grow you as a potter probably more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to make the exact same thing over and over. And
you know what? It makes me...
What is that sound? Sweet Jesus. The train is like dying out there.
Oh, really? I can't hear it.
Any number of like, when you have to do 200 of anything, it makes you a better potter, just generally. Like, when you start throwing the first one, if you don't have a laser level, the last one will be like an inch taller, and it's
yeah. The same clay the same amount of clay, and I'm like, these are holding way more. Like, what? It seems counterproductive.
You're getting better at throwing is what you're doing. You're getting better at throwing, and that's why a level or a pointer is so important in these situations, because you have to remind yourself like every time that you can't go that high, you know?
But would you consciously weigh out less clay the second 100 you make, or would you still weigh out the same amount of clay? You would just keep them thicker and like a thicker bottom, or
keep them thicker and keep them the same is essentially what's happening.
But the first one's not going to be the same as the last one if your throwing is improved, or maybe there's just more weight at the bottom, or I don't know.
What's happening is your throwing's improved, but you're learning how to put the clay in certain spots that it needs to go. And so I just finished throwing like 50 of the thumb cups, the shitty cups, and the first 4 were like super short, and then the next batch was like a medium height. The last batch of like 30, I think it was like 38, they're all fucking super tall, and they're beautiful, and they're exactly how I want them to be, but you could just see them getting taller and taller and taller as I like went along, because I was like, fuck the laser level, I don't need it.
So are you gonna... You didn't squash the first 4, did you? You still kept them? You just you're gonna give those to certain people that got like a pair of them so that they're similar size, and
like, or just one. I mean, they're not bad by any means. They're just a little bit shorter than I would normally have. But the last ones definitely were so good.
Okay. Yeah,
but
my early on was the weight. The weight, I was at like 1.5 pounds, and that was not enough. I needed and now I throw them with 1.75 pounds, which almost seems like too much. But I feel like it could be like 1 pound, 1.6 or 1.65 or something.
How much is 1.75 pounds? How many ounces is that?
1.5
pounds.
Let's see. A pound is 16 ounces, so a quarter is 4. So 16 plus 12 is 28. 28 ounces.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bit steep. I would probably do 24 ounces for a 20-ounce mug. But still 28's fine. You want them to be hefty. Because they're going to be going through the dishwasher and everything like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with a 28-ounce beer mug, you know? Oh,
yeah, it was mainly the, like, less clay. I could maybe get it to where I need it, but it was a stretch because I had to do a 4th pull in there. You know, do 3 comfortable pulls, and I'm easily to where I need to be.
Right, and now you're like, not an issue.
Yeah. But then I'm like, am I making them hold too much volume?
Yeah.
But if I had that laser level, it would probably straighten up the walls and tighten in that volume better.
Yep.
Because some of them might have a little bit of a belly, which can, I mean, a belly down at the bottom. I mean, that's going to add an ounce or two, like pretty reasonably. So, yeah, I don't
steal
think
one of Sarah's 6x6 box and send it to you tomorrow.
I don't think this experience has scared me away from doing another one. I would still do another one in the future. I think what I would do was change my timeline.
Yeah.
I would not give such a certain timeline that would put that I shouldn't have promised at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah. I probably should have said like December 15th or something. But once it's all documented and out there, I mean, I could have changed it early on. I didn't know that they were going to promise, hey, you're going to get them a month early before 2024, which is like, I shouldn't assume. But yeah. So, and we'll actually talk with Potter. I'm going to chat with her. If you want to chat with her, you can, but I was going to chat with her about, she's doing a mug club sort of situation. And I wanted to talk with her about how she organizes it. It's semi mug club related, but not exactly the same as mine. It's just like making custom mugs for them and then they sell them. It's not it's not like a set in the same way as a brewery would do. So
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have that coming soon. But yeah, anything else for the weekend? What was going on? I don't think you shared what you were going to share. I mean, you're talking about the mug club thing, but
oh, okay. So I did a show this weekend, and it was medium good. It
was Bloomington,
good.
Right?
It was Bloomington Handmade Market, and last year I did $3,700. This year,
it's a 2-day show in Bloomington.
It's a 2-day show in Bloomington, and okay, so I did $3,700, but this year I came to the show. I didn't have any thumb cups, and last year I sold $1,200 in thumb cups. Okay, $1,200 in thumb cups, and then like a multitude of other things just in clay, right? And then I sold 9 fancy cups. And then the rest
just in clay. What do you mean by
like
that?
I had spoon rests and I had mixing bowls and I had
like
clay
other pottery things that are not
pottery things.
Yeah.
And so I think this
are there a lot of other potters at that show?
There's a fair amount, yeah.
Okay.
There's a fair amount. But anyway, so going into it this year, I was like, oh, okay, I want to do like 2,500 because we know that this year kind of sucks compared to last year. After,
you said 3,700 last year, right?
Yeah.
37. Okay.
After I looked at all my stats, I was like, holy shit. But then while this is all happening, I did a pre-order for thumb cups on Friday, and which happened to be very good timing because I also took the pre-order to the Bloomington show, and people could order, like I could send them a link through text, and and so.
But they pay. Did they not pay at your point of sale?
No,
they actually
had to,
paid on their own.
Up. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And I said, it's ending on Monday, and I did get a few people that
That's
did
true,
it.
because you had to get shipping addresses and stuff, right? They had to fill all that stuff out.
And so I wanted to tell you how many thumb cups I sold, and I'm counting the thumb cup pre-sale and Bloomington together because it's hard to separate them, but I will tell you how much I sold in thumb cups.
How many thumb cups did you sell last year? You said $1,000 worth. Did you have a quantity of how many that was? Because the prices were drastically different last year from what I remember.
Yeah, the prices were.
Because I think this will be a good example of price differences in how much you actually
this is a good idea. Okay, I'm ready.
Sweet.
So last year I sold 34 thumb cups, 15 medium earrings, 17 small earrings, 21 posts, 5 fancy cups, and then I think I sold 4 small fancy cups.
And those
Yeah,
34
4.
thumb cups made up about $1,000 from what you said?
Yeah. $1,000 20. Okay. Okay.
1,020. Okay.
Okay. So this year, I'm gonna do it from the 10th to the 13th because that's how many
That's when
days
the
the
thumb cups
pre-order was
started,
open.
and yeah, the pre-order.
This year I sold $1,862 in thumb cups
Which is how many?
and 49.
49 thumb cups versus 34.
Wait, hold on. Actually, I lied.
I was gonna say, it seems like the price would be higher for
Okay,
the.
sorry, 2014, and the count is 53. So
Damn, so you
53 thumb
almost
cups.
doubled the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
53 thumb cups versus 34, so not
Yeah,
drastically more.
not drastically more.
18 more, something like that.
And then my earrings were all one price at $30, so I sold 720 of those. I only sold 3 fancy cups. But and I think I sold 3 mini fancy cups.
Do you know how many of those
Yeah,
thumb? Do you know how many of the thumb cups you actually sold like in person at the show that people pre-ordered?
no, I don't. I think I sold like a couple $100.
Okay, that's good
Yeah,
though. Were they?
I
Did
did
you
sell
have
one.
physical ones there for them to see?
I did have physical ones for them to see, and somebody just grabbed it and wanted to buy it at like towards the end of the show, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Uh-huh.
So I sold the blue one.
Okay,
But
but it probably helped to
uh,
have them they could feel it and actually
yeah,
do it. That's cool.
yeah. And some people from last year were like, oh, I wanted more of these, and I was like, well, here's your link. So anyway, this year, so half, so the $2,000 in thumb cups. And then I made $2,000 at the show. So my total collected, as you say,
More than
was
last year.
$4,181.15. Now a lot of that didn't have any tax because it was out of state. But yeah.
Because they're
So like
pre-orders and yeah.
right. Because
And
like
then
when
you
you go
gotta
to a show,
you gotta pay shipping out of that probably. So
yeah, because I had free shipping. That's why they were $38. So yeah, so I feel very happy with this
nice.
weekend. I feel very, very content and very happy, especially since my current bank account is almost $5,000, which is really nice.
I like the
Um,
idea of having something for them to like. I get it. Ideally, it would be nice for them to take something away with them, and they would probably love that. But it's kind of nice to you're kind of setting your schedule for the next couple weeks by having.
mhm.
I mean, I don't know how long it takes you to make them. It sounded like you were going to get a lot of it done within like a week and a half or a week, but
Well, they're already thrown and in the kiln.
yeah.
So,
So it's kind of nice to have something for them to buy, and also hey, they'll get them within a couple weeks and in time for the holidays and stuff, and it's not.
right. And yeah, and me saying like, hey, just so you know, it's free shipping and you'll get them in 2 weeks. I just
And they
didn't
don't have
want
to
to bring
carry
them
it
all
around
here.
with them. That doesn't give them
Yeah,
an excuse to say, I don't want to carry this around. It's like,
yeah,
purchase it. I mean, I wish the point of sale could be a little bit easier of
me too.
not having to. I mean, they could purchase it from you, but you'd have to like get their shipping address when they, I don't know,
Right.
which kind of sucks.
Yeah. But yeah,
That's
but
cool though.
it,
That's nice. So
it
you
was
beat
good.
last year's sales because of the thumb
No.
cups.
Well,
Yeah, you,
because of the thumb cups, but like at the show I only made 2,000. But I still feel like that was pretty okay
yeah.
considering Sunday was super slow, so you know, uh yeah, I feel pretty good about it and and yeah, that it's like 2 weeks of work maybe for me. So that was what was really
Yeah,
nice
the
about it.
pre-order was a good idea.
Yeah.
And you were nervous
Yeah.
about it. You were second guessing. You were like, I don't even want to do this, right?
I was second guessing and I did not want to do it. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad that Rachel was like, "Buck it up and just do it."
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. All right, now that we're 35 minutes in, I think that we talked about a lot of valuable stuff in that.
Yeah, it
35 minutes.
wasn't just bullshit.
No. Should we do our question?
Yeah, we could do our short question. This one is from Blue Nose Trading, which Tori Solis, I believe.
Yeah.
I want to say she shares our podcast every single week when it comes out. I think she's
she's a gem.
She's a very habitual Saturday listener, so we appreciate that,
really
Tori.
nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And she always shares it in Instagram stories because I see the reposts on Wheel Talk. So thanks for that. All right. Her question is, do you use Etsy ads? If so, how do you decide what listings are best to advertise and how much money do you put into them? Thanks, friends.
Yeah.
So you currently do Etsy ads. I asked this before. I've done them before, but I haven't really put a lot of effort into them because I didn't see much results, but it's hard to gauge. So what do you do, or how did you decide to start doing it?
I started doing it because I wanted to like build up my natural selection sales, I guess. I don't know.
Natural selection sales? What do you, it sounded like you wanted to just get a quantity of sales going. Is that why?
Well, yeah, but I also wanted sales from like not direct sales. I wanted sales that like people just found me on Etsy. And
But an ad is not that. It's a sponsored thing. It's bumping you up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm saying I didn't want it from like Instagram. I wanted
Oh.
it from
more
Etsy,
organic.
like, yes, that's the term.
Organic.
And so at first, and Andrew told me to do it. At first I went pretty heavy on it, and then I stopped doing super heavy because I wasn't making any money. But now I just do $1 a day. And last month I made $119 of revenue from it, and then I spent $28
Okay.
on the ads.
Yeah, because Etsy does a pretty good job of actually attributing sales to the ads, so it gives you those stats. Yeah, so you got $119 in sales that you wouldn't have got without spending that $28 potentially.
Right.
Like likely they wouldn't have saw your post and actually engaged with it or whatnot. Okay. Were there certain things that actually... Did you do everything for $1? Everything?
No.
Or is it very select? How did you decide?
I chose my studs because those are like the cheapest, and they're probably the most popular. So, yeah, I choose like very specific items.
Okay.
That way that $1 can go like all towards it, you know?
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a ratio of like how much you should spend to the cost of the item that you're choosing, because I mean it would make sense the cheaper items would probably be more likely to move because the price.
Yeah.
But I wonder if spending more money on like a higher priced item would provide better profit results than, I don't know. I wonder if there's a formula there, because I'm like, yeah, I would probably choose my spoon rests or my shot glasses because they're the best. Well, spoon rests aren't the best sellers. I don't know why spoon rests don't move on Etsy. It doesn't make sense to me. But the shot glasses move.
Because Etsy is like a spoon rest heaven.
But I think my prices on spoon rests are very comparable or low.
Yeah.
Like they're still below average price wise compared to others on there. But I don't know. Did you see they have a new like price optimized pricing kind of beta feature? I don't know if you have it on yours. I have it on mine. It's like a new feature called, I want to say it's called optimized pricing. See listings. It's called optimized prices. and it shows you individual listings and prices of similar listings, so you can see like here's the range, here's the median range. You know, this mug, the median range is 42.86 to 47.37, and my price is low. It's below the median range at $30 because it's a small mug.
Mm.
And then you could hover over the low side and see other images of mugs that are at a similar price point. And then you can hover on the high side and see ones that are in the high price point.
Interesting.
So I haven't really used it because I don't know how much it factors in whether people are pricing it at $42 with free shipping versus me that's
Mm-hmm.
$30 no free shipping.
Right.
So I don't know if that's factoring in, but that's off topic. But yeah, I would probably choose the shot glasses. Just those. Like, you know, I could sell more quantity of those, and as long as I can keep up with them, I would choose to do that. Or I would prefer to do something that has a quantity high enough that it would stay on Etsy, because
Right.
I think those longer life items are better to bring more attention to them, so that as the ads get people to buy stuff, it'll also help with the algorithm of showing up for people searching, because other people are buying it. It's showing activity, as well as like hopefully you're getting positive reviews and 5-star reviews from those items that people bought. So I think that helps you in the algorithm as well, to show that like, hey, this is popular and people are liking it.
Yeah.
I think all those things help. So if you have items like that, I would suggest targeting the ads at those. Um, if it's a one-off piece that is not a multiple quantity item, I don't know that the ad would be
Yeah,
as
no, I think
good.
it needs to be something that's like consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Like a
actually a
white spoon rest that you know you can duplicate.
mhm. And if you don't have any items that are multi-quantity, because you're like, well, each one of my pieces is unique, then maybe have something. Maybe you need to make something, or choose an item
Yeah.
that's within a range of something that you can reproduce. That you're fine
Yeah.
with putting 5 on there. And maybe you have 5 on hand to ship immediately, or maybe it's something that, you know, you can do a semi made to order, glazed to order, where you have 5 of them that are glazed or bisque fired, and then you glaze them within a day or two after the order, and then you can get it out within a week or something, depending on your workflow. But yeah, I've done $1 a day before. I don't know that I did it for like a whole week or a whole month at a time. I think I probably did it for a couple weeks at a time and just tried it. uh I don't remember what kind of items I had in my shop at that point. My shop was way less popular at that point, so I think I was using it as a way to try to drive just sales, because I wasn't getting organic sales. So I was trying to get some semblance of activity so that I could get things out. So it was kind of like discounting my work in a way to hope
Yeah.
I can reach customers that are satisfied when they get the item.
Yeah.
So in that, it's kind of like, you know, you're paying for something. You're paying for, it's kind of like marketing or whatever. So you're paying for something
Right.
extra to help with your item sales. But yeah, I feel like maybe I should give it a try around this time of year. Maybe I should try it on some of those items and just
Yeah. Why
see
not?
what happens, because a lot of it is, I like some of the stock I don't care. I just want to get rid of it. So I hate picking up pieces in the new year and seeing pieces that are like have a 2022 on them, especially if it's 2024. I'm like, oh, man, I need to get rid of this thing. So I think I'll probably do that. There's a friend of mine that's in Cincinnati. She does a lot of I want to say pet portrait mugs. So it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
custom portraits on mugs, and I want to say she throws a couple dollars a day all the time, or maybe it's $5 a day or whatever. But it's one of those that she she feels like it's really worth it to do it. and she keeps doing it. So as far as I know, she still does it. I don't know. I'm not positive, but I believe it's something that she still does. Susan Altino pottery. Let's see. I'm curious how many sales she has on Etsy. 5,000 sales on Etsy.
Damn.
Yeah, so she does. And the way she, oh man, these are. I feel like I should send you her Etsy, and you can like look at it. But it's one of those where
send it to me.
she has a lot of listings. So in one, she has 47 listings. 39 of them are mugs.
My kiln just turned off.
Oh, I was like, what is that? So she has a lot of, custom pet portraits, but there might be a lot of overlap in the listings where one of them says like custom mug or cat mug custom,
Right.
and then there's like custom pet portrait. Like you could probably get a cat on the custom pet portrait one as well as the cat one. And then there's just like standard cat ones that are just kind of generic. So
Oh, the curl at the end of the handle.
yeah.
Oh, the handle curl.
So it's so for her, I think having multiple listings that have activity, I think it's probably, oh my god, Marble. It's probably helpful for the algorithm to show there's like they have a lot of options, but I don't know.
That's amazing that she's gotten so many sales. How many
Yeah.
sales do you have?
I think I
Hold
have.
on.
Do you want to guess?
3,200.
Because you just saw it. Oh, 3,235.
No,
Did you
I
really
did
just
not
guess?
see anything. Well, you started to say, I think I have, so it was like 3,200.
Yep, 3,235.
Dude, I should be on The Price is Right. Truly.
It's somewhat deceiving. I think I've said this before. The sales is the quantity of items you've sold. It's not individual orders. That's a different number. But
Yes.
regardless, it's still a lot. So, yeah.
RD
So
Ceramics does not come up in the search engine. That's a bummer.
in Etsy?
Yeah, I searched it. It's not there.
Really?
You are nowhere to be found.
Damn it. I need to improve that. Are you talking about in a single word or?
Yeah, RD Ceramics in a single word.
Oh, I don't do that. Maybe I should do that. Well, I see me, but I don't know if that's because I already like am part of my thing. I don't know.
Oh, and it does say, did you mean the shop RD Ceramics?
But wait, you don't see them in the search results? Because I see them.
Mm-mm.
Maybe I need to be in incognito so it doesn't know that it's me or something.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of my stuff in here.
Damn. How many people have I sold to?
Because it looks like a few of my listings have Etsy pick on them. Which seems to be good.
I have 329 sales. Cool. Okay. Do we need to say anything more about ads?
I don't think so. Give it a go. See what you think. I would say, I don't want to say lower your expectations, but go in with, I would say no expectations and just
Yeah.
be pleasantly surprised or use it as a learning opportunity.
Yeah. For sure. All right, let's get to, you know what we should first do?
Yeah. What should we first do?
That is also talking about our topic kind of at the same time. But how's your new kiln running, Ryan?
It's going great. I am noticing it is quite insulated because of the kiln brick. So it's taking a little longer to cool, but that's to be expected with the thicker kiln wall.
That does happen.
But yeah, it's been firing perfectly. I need to get back to making a little short kiln log. I haven't done that because it's digital. It's like I don't think about it, but
Yeah,
I feel
because it
like
has its own kiln log on it, doesn't it?
yeah, it'll give you. I haven't looked at the past ones. I know it gives. You could probably look at the last one, or I need to probably research this on the website. But um, yeah, I'm like brand new. I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it's great. The controller's great. Pulling up my old firing schedules and stuff is great. They're already like preset in there,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just on point. Yeah, the controller's really good.
Yeah, I definitely am gonna have to be using the website probably in the next couple of days because I've got to replace the thermocouples in my kiln and the best
Do you so
resource.
you have three, correct?
I have three, and the best resource for that, really, honestly, truly, unbiasedly, is hotkilns.com. But for reals, though, it is. I have a freaking cone art kiln, and I use hotkilns.com to diagnose my shit. Yeah, it is a very good website with a lot of resources. So happy about that.
How terrible did that thermocouple look, or your thermocouples? Do they look pretty bad?
It looks fine. It's got a crack in the ceramic part, but that's normal.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think we must have accidentally
not
bumped it.
not as bad
Yeah.
as the one that's in your firebox, from what I remember seeing.
Oh, yeah. The
That thing
firebox is
is
hanging by a thread.
like literally, there's barely like if you have a few more bits of things crust like fall off, there's gonna be no connection.
A few more flecks and we'll have no connection left. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how that thing's hanging on. That thing is
When I
like imagine putting power through that, or I'm I'm guessing there's no power going, or maybe there's a slight power going through it just to.
yeah. Well, when I posted a video or a picture of my thermocouple, so many people were like, I need a they were like, this makes me feel so much better about mine.
I mean, the thing is with your kiln, it's so small, the risk is very low of like messing something
Yeah.
up. I guess it just errors and you just replace it in 5 minutes, hopefully, and then you're back on track. So
Yeah, we're kind of giving off schedule, but anyway, use the freaking website for hotkilns.com. Hotkilns.com. We're going to be
hi,
talking
kilns.
plenty about hot kilns today, so you'll get your recaps. But back to the kiln. So what's crazy about this kiln is that, or about the thermocouple, is that it's been that thin for like 4 months, and I've just been like taking it in and out of the van, and I
It's
put like little, and I keep all of the shelves in the kiln, and I keep all of the bricks in the kiln, and I
what?
position them so that they won't touch the thermocouple.
They don't slide in there or anything or fall over.
No, I put my stilts. I put them blocking the thermocouple so it can't get to it. But
Mm.
yeah, like that, I'm like I'm so surprised that it lasted through me going up to Michigan. It
Well,
was
I
it
wonder if because it's kind of bent at 90 degrees, I wonder if that has any impact on how like
much heat it
if it would
it
last
knows.
longer
Yeah, I
if
don't
it
know.
was straight versus bent
Well, it's got a lot
because there
more
was
wire exposed, so
yeah,
it's figuring out the heat through the entire thing since it's such a small kiln that, yeah, I don't know. But I
I
do
mean it's
have
only
another,
and the like length of wire you're talking about is only like 2 or 3 inches of wire, right? It's not
yeah,
significant, but
it's 3 inches. Yeah, I think 2.5 or 3. What's wild is that I actually have another one. It's in the van. I finally had to like take it out of the kiln and put it somewhere safe, so I didn't like
because you
hit it.
probably have to take it out from the inside of the kiln and
Yeah,
like push it through.
yeah. I need to order the parts for this kiln. I think the what did you get on your head? I think The elements are going to go soon too.
There's more than one element in there?
I think there's two little itty bitty ones. Maybe it's one that wraps all the way around.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, yep. That's Becca's kiln situation. Come here.
Wow. It is like hanging on by a thread.
Sorry, I just had to clean Lloyd's head.
White cat problems.
Seriously. It didn't even get clean.
Especially when he's rolling around outside on the concrete and getting into mischief.
Yeah, it looks like he got in a fight with a thing of poop. Like,
Oh, God.
he probably just got some car oil on him, but it's right in the middle of his forehead. It looks like a little marker.
All right. Do you want me to read the question we're talking about today?
Yes.
All right, so this leads into the topic for the day. This comes from The Pottery Mason. I believe we've heard from them a few times before. Hey guys, me again. I would love to get a larger kiln when I expand my studio space next year, and I'm totally sold on an L&L. But I don't know which kiln to get. Can y'all do a segment, sponsored or not, on kiln sizes? I currently have a Skutt 822, so put a pin in that.
Okay.
Not sure I could get a much taller kiln because I'm short. She's 5'2", but really
feel
am
that.
outgrowing the kiln size. What's a great next size up for potters who do semi-production work?
You said Skutt
The Pottery
822?
Mason. 822.
Okay, so let's figure out what size. I'm pretty positive this is a 3 cubic foot kiln.
Yeah.
Pretty positive. Wow, Scott, your fucking website. I just need what it is. Oh, the specs. Okay. Alrighty then. It's a cone 10, 3.2 cubic feet. Okay, so it's tiny. It's a baby kiln. So
Yeah. The comparable kiln for L&L, 3.2 cubic feet. In their like typical pottery kilns would be the E18M. So it's like 18-inch shelf, I think is what that means. Or 18-inch.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not really going to talk about prices in this episode. If you need to know what prices are, we had an episode called Kilns, and you can go back and look at that one. This might be a good segue into that one,
Mm-hmm.
but that was like a long time ago before we were even sponsored by L&L, and also it might have been the episode that got us sponsored by
Maybe.
L&L.
I think it might have been actually.
Yeah. So,
I'm trying to remember what episode number it is. We can link to that, but
yeah.
I believe it was back in the first 100 episodes.
Yeah, it was.
69.
69.
December of 2020. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Fuck. Damn.
I don't know
okay,
if it was
cool.
that episode, but it might have been that episode. There was another kiln
Okay.
episode that we did, but it doesn't matter. Yeah,
So for reference, a 3 cubic foot kiln is about, this one is, hers is an 18-inch opening. That means that the whole thing is like 22 inches. But the shelves are like 16 inches. Which almost doesn't even make sense. I felt like mine were much smaller, but
mine were like the comparable L&L. It says they're 15-inch shelves.
Yeah,
which
okay,
I believe
15-inch.
is accurate because I still have some 15-inch shelves a couple half shelves that I use in my big kiln.
Okay, that makes sense. So 15-inch shelves, and I would say you could probably fit like 20 mugs in it. Short mugs. Like about 20.
Fit about 3 shelves worth, maybe.
Yeah, 3 shelves worth of mugs, and then probably 8 mugs on each shelf. Maybe 7.
Yeah.
Maybe 25.
Depends on the size of the.
Yeah.
We're talking glaze here, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it depends on the size of the mug, but that's kind of gives
And
you
the
a reference.
and the post size, but yeah.
Yeah, that kind of gives you a reference for the size. And what I love about the small kilns is that you can just turn them over really quick. And like that'll be my next size of kiln for sure. Um,
Yep.
just because it's a fun size. Yeah. Um, so okay, so what size of kiln do you have right now? And you're literally doing like full production, and you have
Yeah.
two kilns this size.
I have 2 kilns, yeah. So I have the E23T,
Okay.
which is
And that's
6.7 cubic feet.
okay. And
So it's pretty much it's a little more than double the size of hers.
Good. So in comparison, that is the what is that?
We're gonna be
Is
calling
that
out Skutt. We're gonna be calling out Skutts here, so you have a reference point as well.
so yeah, just so you have a reference point too. So that's a 1027 in a Skutt. And now you can
That's the most popular Skutt kiln, I believe.
yes. That is by far the most popular Skutt. And like KMT is the cone 10 one, but that doesn't matter. So that's a 7 cubic foot kiln. That's the same size my kiln is right now too.
Oh, I
And
thought yours was bigger than
usually,
that.
I have a 7 cubic foot. Usually, a 7 cubic foot either has a 27 or a 28 in the number that describes it, because it's 28 inches in depth, or 27 inches in depth. So, yeah.
But this is 20. But mine's not. Mine's 20. Has 23 in it, so it takes a 20-inch shelf.
No, depth, height.
Oh, height. Okay, I got you.
Height.
I got you. Yeah, yeah. The height of this one's 27 inches. Yep.
Yeah, so that's usually why it has the number in it, I believe. So like 18 would be 18 inches high, 27 would be 27 inches high. So if it's like a 1027 is 27 inches high, and 8
You're talking about the Skutt
18
numbers. I gotcha.
yeah, but I mean, I think that the L&Ls do kind of similar things too. I know that the
I
Conards
think
do.
theirs are the L&Ls,
The
like
width.
it's the width, I believe, because it says the 23T is 22 and 3, nearly 23 diameter, 27 inches high,
Cool.
and then the other one is the smaller one is 16 and a half diameter by 23 inches high, but it's like, so it's not like exact, but
Yeah. So anyway, a lot of the times you can figure out how high they are, how wide they are by the names that they're given. But we won't go into that too much. So, okay, if you were doing like half of the amount of work that you're doing, like if you're doing like what I'm doing right now, a 7 cubic foot is more than enough.
yeah. Yes, if I think things change here because she already has a kiln,
Yeah.
and I think getting a 7 cubic foot would make the most logical sense for the next kiln because you have a smaller one and you have a bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think going from like a 3 cubic foot to a 5.5 cubic foot, for instance, would make sense because it's not that much bigger. So I
Right.
think you kind of need that gap. Where I think the because you know you have the choice of, you know, bisqueware can stack inside each other, they can stack on top of each other, depending on the form you're doing. Like maybe you're in a bowl mood and you want to throw a ton of bowls, you're going to be able to bisque fire that in the 7 cubic foot kiln a lot more comfortably than bisque firing them in the 3 cubic foot kiln. Like you're going to be very
Right.
limited. But you might want to do a bisque firing of mugs in the smaller kiln just because they can stack nicely, they can take up a small amount of space. And you could get a decent number of them. Like maybe you don't make 100 mugs at a time, but you make like, 20 to 30. Like you could probably fit 20 to 30 in a bisque kiln pretty reasonably in a small kiln.
Yeah.
But,
Uh,
if you got a lot of forms that are bigger and wider and plates and things like if you're making wide things, plates, that would be pretty limiting in a 3 cubic foot kiln.
if if I was looking at these two L&L kilns and like, okay, so if I wanted to get a 7 cubic foot kiln and I had the choice, I would get the shorter one. It's the E28S3
Hmm.
instead of the E23T3 because it's got 28-inch shelves. First, those are great for plates. Second, if you are 5'2", which I am, uh, you don't have to get on a stool to get to the bottom shelf. And that
Yeah.
actually does fucking matter. Okay, because I've almost fell into a kill before.
Yeah, and I don't think
And
it's probably not comfortable getting up on a step stool and leaning down into the kiln.
it is not. And like I've had a step stool by my kiln ever since I've had a kiln.
And
Um,
you're probably missing out on space if you don't want to load the bottom of the kiln, or like you loaded my kiln here, you didn't put anything on the bottom shelf. You had like a 5 inch shelf at
yeah,
the or 5 inch post at the bottom, and then put
nothing
stuff
on
on
the
the
bottom
bottom.
of my shelf right of my kiln right now either.
Yeah, so you're wasting space. You could do with one ring less, and probably you fit the same amount of stuff because you don't use the bottom. Well, you
Right.
personally don't use the bottom. I don't know if Sarah does, but
Nope. No, because like Sarah doesn't use, she doesn't have as much things to put in. You
yeah, her
know,
production's not as high as yours when you're throwing
right,
pots.
right. But like even when we're both doing like fancy stuff, it's still not as much typically. So, but
Actually, I do
yeah,
need to look
like
up the pottery mason to see what kind of forms
but
to
tech
see.
technically if I had the choice, I would 10 out of 10 get the shorter one if I could. Um, for a multitude of reasons. One of them being you only have to replace two elements
Yeah,
instead of three. And like also the replacing of elements is so much easier. Trying to get your freaking head into the bottom of like
yeah,
a
that
kiln
sounds
that's
horrible.
almost the same height as you is awful.
Yeah,
It doesn't even matter if you have the fucking uh the fucking element guides or whatever.
yeah. She
Um,
okay, so her name's Audrey. She's got a very very nice Instagram. You should check it out. So she does make a lot of production work. So it's not what quote
yeah,
unquote
she
like
does.
fancy like we're taught like you or Sarah makes. So the
Right.
quantity is there. She will. I don't know how much production she's making, but
Yeah,
she has the potential to be making
a lot.
a lot. Um, so yeah, I would. That was going to be my recommendation. Was going to be something like the 28S, the shorter one. Actually, I think Megan Yarnell has that kiln at her house because I
Yeah.
can see that it's the shorter version. Um,
Yeah, because Megan's the same height as us.
yeah. So the only difference is it takes up more of a footprint wherever you're putting it. So where you lose the height, you have width, so it's going to take a little more space depending on where your kiln's at. So be conscious of that, as well as if you're keeping your old kiln, that's you basically need double the floor space, but really 3 times the floor space for your old kiln plus your new kiln. It's going to take up quite a bit. So
Yeah. I think that like if you were one of those people like if you had more space, like we're talking about Ryan here. If Ryan had more space in his life, I would have told him to get a 10 cubic foot kiln uh instead of a 7 cubic foot kiln just because I know you're ever growing
hmm
and not that I think that getting the 7 cubic foot kiln was a mistake because it was pulling teeth just to get you a kiln regardless. But like, uh, but I think that if I were pottery mason and I knew that I like I think before you buy a kiln, you really need to look at your long-term goals because a brand new kiln you will have for the rest of your life. Like,
Oh yeah.
like, so look at your long-term goals, and if your long-term goals are to start making big shit and to like also like hire employees maybe and to do production and to do this full time forever and ever, amen, then maybe a 10 cubic foot kiln is the way to go and just invest in a really good stool. Like, you know, or they have the 8.5, but at that point you might as well just get the 10. Um,
Yeah, it's
because
not much of a price difference between the 8.5 to 10.
yeah. So when I had the studio in Monroe, I had a 3 cubic foot, a 10 cubic foot, and a 17 cubic foot, and they were all used often. Um,
Yeah.
and the 10 cubic foot, I was really sad to leave. Like it was such a good size, you know. Like you could fit 100 mugs in there.
So just for yourself, I'm sorry,
Oh
I missed the part right before that, but were you just putting your work in there or was it with the
no,
studio?
I was putting all the studio work in it, but it was just a really nice size. Like the reason why I loved it was not necessarily the size of the kiln, but the size of the shelves. And that's why having that like short, wider one is nice because it's got those 28-inch shelves. Having a 28-inch shelf means that you can put 4 plates in the kiln on one shelf,
Flat. Yeah, all the way down.
flat. And so, I mean, like ideally, as long as your plates aren't massive. But
Mhm.
having the 7 cubic foot where they're 23-inch shelves, you can't do that. And so I think that that's something to consider as well. Like if you're going to be a plate person, maybe figure out you want to make sure that you're getting like a 28-inch shelf. Um, just so much nicer.
Or else you're gonna need a bunch of full shelves, probably, and a bunch of those plate stackers,
Right.
maybe. And you're probably
Yeah.
gonna have to fill gaps around the outside of the plate stacker thing. And
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, um, if you're going to do any like oval platters or large platters, like having that extra space is really nice. You know,
hmm
I did like my little earring tray that I have for my kiln. I had to fire it sideways because it wouldn't fit,
oh, really?
like standing up.
It
Yeah,
looks like the widest thing she has is a few serving bowls, but most of them are pretty much like dog bowl shape.
yeah,
Is kind of the biggest like diameter item she makes. Um, like I said, there's a few serving bowls, a few vases, but um, if you're in the the 28S is only 18 inches high, so taller things are going to be challenging. But maybe those tall things can go in your smaller kiln and you fire them like on their own if you happen to make a few tall things or something, like glaze
yeah.
fire wise. But
I'm trying to find like okay. There's an 8 cubic foot kiln that Skutt makes that has the 28-inch shelves. It's called it's the 1222. That's how high it is. That's why. Okay. And then there's I want to say the 7 cubic foot is, yeah, the 6.6 cubic foot is the 1218.
so it's shorter and squattier, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the L&L one.
Yeah.
Okay. I do kind of like the idea, like having that 28-inch shelf. The time it takes to load, like you're only really talking about a couple shelves worth.
Yeah.
So the time it takes to load is actually shortened versus, I got to make sure I make room for posts because I got to have at least 3 shelves worth on like a very spaced out kiln.
Right.
But, I'm putting a lot more shelves. I might end up putting on average, if you include the bottom shelf, I might have a total of half shelves and full shelves, maybe 7 to 8
Right.
shelves in a kiln.
Yeah.
Whereas in the 28S one, you're probably only going to have maybe 4 at max.
Hmm. I
Like,
wonder how many thermocouples does the Easy Fire the I wonder how many thermocouples the double one. It must only have two.
yeah, it's got 2. Yeah, you can see the
Okay.
pictures on the inside of it.
Yeah.
I would imagine your firings are pretty damn even. I mean, besides the, the
Right.
zone control,
But
but
that's another thing too, like having the short one, you only have to avoid two thermocouples instead of three,
mhm.
which is really nice, you know?
I would guess the
Like
Skuts only have 1.
Scotts only have one,
Yeah.
which can be a benefit if you're a production. But, you know. Um,
Yeah, typically where the thermocouples fall for me is they don't fall, obviously they don't fall on the half shelf point, so like don't put the half shelf right where the thermocouples are. So
yeah.
they're kind of like right in the middle between 2 posts. So if I have 3 posts on a half shelf side, I would have them right between 2 of the posts. So that it's basically right kind of in that open air side of the shelf. So um
Yeah. I just have issues with thermocouples just in general, so and I only use full shelves. I barely ever use a half shelf, so um yeah. Okay, let's talk about the 10 cubic foot and like what that looks like. Like what scenarios do you think you would have to have a 10 cubic foot kiln? I feel like that's the type of kiln that you only can have one kiln and it's a 10 cubic. You know, like you're a full-time potter, you only have one kiln and it's a 10, you know? Like instead of having two
well,
kilns.
I was thinking maybe you're I actually know somebody that does this. High production, they gas fire everything. So they use a 10 cubic foot kiln to bisque fire everything.
Yeah,
And that's all they use it for.
yeah.
So, they're tumble stacking, they're making vast quantities of stuff. And this probably applies to more than one or two people that I can think of off the top of my head that they just use it for bisque firing and they just fucking crank through it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the limit is that you only have one kiln, so like there's if something goes down, your throughput is going to be shot
Right.
if you got to change elements or whatever. But you're not
If
stressing it as hard if you're only using it for bisque.
right, but like that's not reality for most people. Like for most of our people listening, they're
They're
not going
electric
to
firing
be, yeah,
everything.
they're not going to. Like, I think that if I could only have one kiln and I was doing full-time pottery, I'd want a 10.
If you were me production wise,
Yeah, and I could only have one kiln, and like I only had space for one, or I only had
uh
the power for one, I'd want a 10 cubic foot kiln.
yeah, that sounds reasonable because I mean, you could always leave it a little airy if you don't want to fill it all the way,
Yeah.
but you can't overfill it because there's only so much space. So,
But my ideal situation as a production potter is having a 10 cubic foot and a 3 cubic foot.
really,
Yes.
why the 3? I would think like a 7 and a
No.
10, or a 5.5 and a 10, not a
No.
3.
No, the 3 is really nice for like small orders that you need to get out now. It's like the 3 cubic foot is for like small bisques and also like I would use it almost primarily for bisque and I'd use it for like luster firings, decal firings, all of the small firings that I need.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd use it for.
What if you don't do decals or lusters and you
I'm talking
plan
about
ahead and you have
me.
bisqueware? What
Okay.
if you're me
If you were you, I'd probably want
and
two
you had
sevens.
2 kilns?
I still
Would you say
like the
two?
idea of having a big one and a small one. I still like that idea. It's just like nice because sometimes you don't need the big one and the small one's like good
Yeah,
enough, you know?
I think I like the idea of the 10 cubic foot and maybe a 6 cubic foot.
Okay.
Like there's one here that's a 5.5 cubic foot. So it's the 23M. So it's basically my kiln but a ring shorter
Don't
or
forget
half
to
a
pick
ring
up
shorter.
Pip's poop. What? No, it's out there by the fence. Sorry, that was a sidetrack. Pip Pip really had to go to the bathroom earlier, and so she
Yeah, it
went
sounds like you
poop
took
by
a
the
shit.
fence. She took a shit by the fence, and I wasn't gonna pick it up because Pip's not my dog. Also, I
So
didn't have any bags.
the 5.5 cubic foot is basically my kiln, but it's half a ring shorter.
Yeah,
And then the next size down is a full ring shorter, and it's 4.4. I feel like that'd be kind of an oddball. I don't know. Like if I were able to trade in both of my kilns, I feel like that would be kind of what I would get.
yeah,
But I mean, the 10 takes up a lot of space. I don't know. I feel like uh, studio wise, I would actually need a little bit more space for a 10 cubic foot and the 5.5 because it's the same kiln body as mine, just shorter. I just don't I just don't fire. I'm trying to think of what, like right now with the Mug Club, like I would have used it for decal firings maybe, but
yeah.
in regular flow of work and how I like go through work, I
You don't
don't
need
know
it.
that I would use something that small
Yeah,
frequently at all. It would just get dust. It would collect dust. I don't think I would use it enough.
yeah. That's fair. I don't know. I've just always liked having a smaller one. Just personally, I've liked having a smaller one.
Yeah, I think your throughput having a firebox or whatever the smallest doll kiln is
Yeah,
and you know, a 3 cubic foot kiln would be perfect, right?
yeah. Um. Oh, okay. So let's talk about that. I know that a lot of people have asked me about the firebox, and let's see. L&L has a doll kiln.
The
Um,
firebox is what is a Skutt brand or what is that?
yes, firebox is Skutt, and um,
Is that a half cubic foot? Right.
fuck no, it's a
No?
I don't know. It's
That's what
like
that's what all these test kilns are from
it's like
L&L. They're all
four
half
inches
cubic
by
feet.
8 inches. I don't know
Oh, it's
why.
even smaller. It's probably on the You can't find it on the Skutt website?
No. Wait. It's very long. Okay, I found it. Um, so sorry about me clicking. I just realized that people are listening to this. Um, I have that 4 by 8 LT, and that is the one that goes to cone 10. Uh, it is apparently it has no specs. It's got zero specs, according to Scott.
No specs.
It's got no specs.
What?
Nothing. There's no
No, it
model,
does.
there's no phase, there's no volts,
Oh
no
shit. Yeah, there's
specs.
not. What the hell? Get it
Let's see if
together.
the other firebox has specs.
Sounds
Nope,
like it's got
no
What?
specs for that one either.
They're like, we don't need specs. It's 8 by 6. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. So,
Oh no, here it
yeah,
is. 0.22 cubic feet.
0.22
This is off
cubic
the
feet.
ceramic shop. I can see the details.
Okay.
Um, but it says it's a 15 amp. I don't think that's the same one.
Yeah, it's 15 amp.
Oh, is it? I
No.
thought it was a one. I thought it was 120. Or okay, 15 amp. Yeah, sorry, I was mixing the volts up with the amps.
Yeah, it's 15 amp,
You can still
120
use
volt.
a regular 3-prong plug for that with just like any appliance you have, like a toaster.
Yeah, and I believe that the 20 amp one is the one that has it sideways. It's got like the T in the,
Okay.
yeah, so like so
Okay, so
anyway,
that is tiny.
yeah, so it's very small, very freaking small. It actually measures out to 4.5 inches height. Um, they
You
gave
need
you
an extra half inch
a little
just so
extra,
you could put
but
a shelf in there, a half-inch shelf.
right, a 1/2 inch shelf. But if you add in shelves, which I don't a lot, if you add in shelves, it reduces the size significantly. I thankfully was given some shelves from Advancer, and they have helped dramatically because they're the right size. But also, the other shelves that I use are actually just tiles, high
I was
temp
gonna say, what
tiles.
if you just put kiln wash on a bisque tile? Okay.
Yeah, no, those are my other kilns, like my other
Yeah,
like
because it's not holding weight really, so it's just to
right.
protect the bottom of the floor. So
Yeah, but I don't when I fire like 4 cups and stuff, I don't put a shelf down. I just put the cups in. Um,
hmm.
just straight on the brick. It
Is
makes no
it
sense.
porous, kind of like a regular kiln is
Yep, it's
on the
fire
bottom?
brick. It's fire brick. And what this is nice for is like people are always like, should I buy it like for like at home? No, no, you should not buy it if you're making more than 10 cups in a year. Like it's
Like it sounds
not,
like you should only use it for earrings or something small like that,
yeah,
not
it's not
any thrown
ideal.
items.
It's not ideal for thrown items. Yes, I use it on the road all the time for thrown items, but it's not something that I would just like throw like my cups in on a regular basis. It's not something like that because not only that, but like I have to fire it to cone 6 to get it to cone 5. Like, you know, it's something that it's not reliable as far as temp is concerned. Um, and the size, it's not reliable. Like,
Would
no,
you rely on it for like test tiles or something if people were doing a lot
absolutely
of tests?
not. No.
No.
Like, I would not rely on it for anything that I need to be specific,
How
right?
much is it that crusty thermocouple, Becca?
How much what?
How much is the crusty thermocouple have to do with how reliable it is, you think?
Oh, it wasn't reliable from the get-go.
Okay, okay.
It's just too small. It's too small and it like is not insulated enough. It's too small, to be that reliable. They do have like Skutt has the glaze tech kilns. Those ones are reliable because they are bigger. And they have a little bit
Hmm.
more like oh, this one actually has specs. It's 1 cubic foot and it's got a little bit more insulation, you know. Uh, oh, uh,
Okay, 1 cubic foot. So that is the what? Which one is that?
that's
The
the
one,
glaze tech from Skutt.
the glaze tech.
Yeah. So that is what like that
I
guy
see
in
one that's a
Hawaii, Cone Infinity, that's what
KM.
he uses. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure Amy has one from Pines and Pottery.
Hmm.
Um, it's a great little kiln for like doing like that's the one that I would get if you're like I don't have a lot of space for a kiln. I just need to like I just need something that's reliable but small, like a true hobby potter. That's a good one if you didn't want to go for a 3 cubic foot.
Oh, sorry. I see the glaze tech now. Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at the other ones, the KM 614 and KM 714.
Oh.
Those actually have like a regular control panel like the other
Yeah,
Scutts
and I
do.
think the KM614 is the plug. It's a regular um it like fits. That one you can fit 6 mugs in, I believe, and
It's 20 amps though.
it's 20 amps, so you have to get a special plug, but you can still plug it into a regular outlet. That's the one with the T connection. Um,
Hmm.
One of the prongs has a T, is sideways
Hmm.
on it. So that's just to make sure that you have enough amperage. And you don't
Okay.
trip a breaker.
This one says 614 says cone 6 though.
Yep, it's only a cone 6, and which is it is what it is.
It's 1 cubic foot.
Yeah. So that one's nice too if you want to do some like small stuff. Like this would be great if the 614, which I don't know if there's a equivalent within the L&Ls, but the 614 would be great if all you needed to do was bisque your pieces so you could get them to another studio to fire. You know?
Oh, like if you're making stuff at home so that you don't break it in transit?
Yeah. Like that would be a perfect kiln for that because you can still plug it in. You don't have to like install a crazy plug. It's just like good to go.
And you're talking about the 614, right? So that's the 1 cubic foot. I was trying to look at the L&L ones. A lot of the small doll test kilns are half a cubic foot. The smallest,
The E14S.
the smallest one is 1.5 cubic feet, which is the E14S.
Yeah, the E14S is good. I mean, it's like it looks pretty small. It looks like about the same size. They just don't like.
They have 12-inch shelves.
Yeah, basically, L&L wants all of their kilns to go to cone 10, which is very admirable, and so they don't skimp on the electricity side, essentially, where Skutt's like, we understand that some people don't go past cone 6, so we're gonna like do this. But the problem with that is that like I got a cone 8 kiln and I didn't even realize it like before I was buying kilns, and it fucked me up, like it fucked all my things up because I had to like replace elements all the time and do all like so much more
Is there
work.
a big price difference between a cone 6 or a cone 8 and a cone 10 normally?
I feel like there is.
We don't have to go too much into pricing, but I mean, if it's that use case that we were just talking about, the bisque firing to get it to a studio, then you don't really care about the cone 10.
Right. Yeah, you're
But
right.
it's good to be able to have it compatible to that just in case you do want to glaze fire something or throw some tests in there and not have to take all of your you wouldn't be like, oh, I got a cone 6 kiln, but I want to like try a few glaze tests, but I can't really do that because it's not a cone 10 kiln or a cone 8 kiln,
Oh my god, this is fucking dumb. The problem is they don't tell you. I mean, it makes sense because like the distributor is not going to tell you the price typically, because they sell them all over the place. But I don't know the answer to that question, the difference in the cost.
You know what I just realized looking at the L&L cone 10 cubic foot is it says it's a cone 8.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
What?
I wonder if there's an upgrade for that or
Shut up.
Now when I click on it, now it says cone 5. No. Cone 10
wild.
for all cone 10 for all three-phase models. See below for single phase.
Note about E28T3 Easy Fire Kiln 1 phase power. Huh. It's only rated to cone 5 when the power supply is 208 volts. Cone 8 when it's 240 volts. Interesting. Well, then I wouldn't recommend the. Well, I mean, if you had phase 3, it'd be fine, but that's pretty hard to come by.
I wonder if there's a. I'll research this on this side, but I was wondering if there's another front loading kiln that would be like 10 cubic feet that may
Yeah, but like the front loading kilns are so fucking expensive. Like, you
10
know?
cubic foot front loading cone $10,000
Yeah, that's like insane.
versus $6,000 for a top loading. Huh.
Kilns are
Oh, there's a
so much more
here.
expensive
Oh,
than they used to
sorry,
be.
sorry, sorry. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to that level. You can get the. It says Equad Pro production kiln, 10 cubic foot, 6,500 for a cone 10.
Oh,
Those are the ones that have like each band actually has like the band will have pairs of element channels.
oh,
I don't know if you're looking at them, but
yeah. So there's like
do you see how it
six.
look?
Yeah.
It's more densely packed with elements.
So it's just like a more pristine firing, essentially. Holy
So
shit! A
there's
13 point.
12 lines of elements in here.
Yeah, there's a 13.6 cubic foot one that's super fucking tall. Like, who's gonna be able to get down into there? You'd have to be a giant to reach into that.
You probably put huge like bottles and vases in there and stuff.
I guess.
What kind of kiln did Danny Meisinger have? He did gas firing, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, and I think he bisques in his gas too because it just made sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
those tall ones. Whew. Yeah, that's very tall. Top loading. Okay, so the smaller ones, is there certain forms or things you're making that is not the whole bisque situation that you would recommend a small one for? Like jewelry or
Oh yeah, I
are
think
there other similar types of things to jewelry that you would recommend it for?
yeah, there was this like I saw this one lady in Chicago, or I didn't see her, but I saw her kiln, and she had like one of the smaller L&L kilns, and she did these little tiny figurines, and that's all she made,
Hmm.
and that would be a perfect kiln for somebody like her. You know,
Or
like
what
that
about
size
the
is perfect.
woman that's at the Tilted Kiln that makes the little nuggets?
Oh yeah, yeah, Deb. I think her name's Deb. Yes.
Nuggets, or I think I see some people that make little houses and stuff,
Yeah.
the little sculptures.
Like that's perfect. Like if you're doing super small stuff, a small kiln is perfect for that. Like a 1.5 cubic foot, 2 cubic foot, something like that is ideal. I would still probably get a 3 because you never know like when you want to do something bigger. If you have the room, I would probably get a 3. But if you're always only making super super small things, then you know, getting a getting the tiny one. What's nice about like me and Deanna have talked about it is that so Deanna is my friend that also does jewelry, and she is the one that like literally I was like I need that kiln when I saw the jewelry kiln, and she's been thinking about getting a second one because here's the thing.
The one just like the one you have, right? The
Yeah,
firebox one?
the
Okay.
firebox. Yeah, she's been thinking about getting a second one because the thing is she could get a second kiln and like fire them off and on, you know? Like plug one in, unplug it, plug the other one in, and it would be I don't know, the most you'd pay for two of them is $2,500. Like the firebox is like $1,100, I think now. I got it for 900, but like it is dirt cheap compared to like a full-on kiln, you
Then
know?
getting this 1.5 cubic foot L&L for 2,500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yes, because I mean like having two and being able to go back and forth is really nice. Um for like
Is
little
that?
things like that.
But you could fit more in the 1.5 cubic. You could fit
Yeah. for sure.
You could fit way more in that
Way
than
more.
the small firebox,
Yeah.
but because it is 1.5 cubic feet, but it's also like if it's still short stuff, you still have a lot of headroom in your
Yeah.
kiln. You just can't utilize it because you literally can't put another shelf in there
Right.
because your pieces would be right on the top of the kiln.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Little nuggets, little hand. What about hand building? Is there an optimal hand building type of kiln that you think would be good for like Amy Drummond is a little different example because she does make like production hand building.
Oh my gosh, I had to switch out my headphone and then it fucked me over. Um, so we're going to be off. Hey, at 30 seconds, can we both clap, please? Okay, thanks. Um, so what was your question?
Is there an optimal kiln size that you think a hand builder that is not a Amy Drummond production hand builder, quote unquote, would see
If
benefit
I was a
in?
hand builder, I'd want something wide and short because like usually hand building comes with like wider and shorter things. It's funner to make short, wide things when you're hand building.
Okay. So that would be like this 4.4 cubic foot.
Yeah.
Maybe. I still think that 3.2 cubic foot is a pretty versatile size, I think. If it's like first kiln. I don't know. What about a first kiln for somebody? Like if they're going to pay brand new, is there an optimal size for
God, that's such a fucking hard question. I think if I was gonna buy my very first kiln, and I'd probably want to get the 5 cubic foot kiln, the 5.5,
Okay.
the E23M-3 L&L. It's still got 2 elements, but it's got a little bit more height and 2 sets of elements. So it's got a little bit more height and it wouldn't be so tall, like you can reach to the bottom. It's fairly good size. My first kiln was a 3 cubic foot. Your first kiln was a 3 cubic foot.
Yeah, I think it was 3 cubic foot, but you could put a blank ring in there to get maybe 4.5 with a bisque firing. But it was a blank ring, so there was no elements.
Yeah, if I was like brand new, if it was like my first kiln and I like knew I was going to do this for a lot of years, 5 cubic foot. If I was brand new, I had a bunch of money in my pocket and this was just a hobby, 3.2 cubic foot.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the logical next step if you have that 3.2 cubic foot is to get a 7 cubic foot from there. If you're like turning it over, I just think like you could easily keep, like we're talking about, we wish we had 3 cubic foot kiln. Like if I got another kiln, I would get a 3 cubic foot kiln. I don't think I would get a 10 cubic foot. I think I would get a 3 cubic foot, and I would have 3, and I would have that little bitty guy. Like I could find space for that little guy, but you know, you're going to have a lot of life out of that. You know, there's points where I'm like, I wish I still had a 3 cubic foot, but it didn't have the controller on it. So, you know, that's the variable that, you know, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm glad I don't have that because I don't have to babysit it and it's more consistent. But, but yeah, that 3 cubic foot's going to serve you pretty long. And then that 7 cubic foot's going to like ramp up that production and keep you
like put you into the next
out.
level.
My my old Olympic was 5.5, I think, cubic feet, 5.8. I think it was almost 6. So it was a 6, and then I had that, like, you know, the 7 cubic foot one that I still have. So I had a 6 and a 7. So
Yeah, it's funny how like long we've talked about three different sizes of kilns. Like how interesting
it's a
are
big
we?
decision. Like you really need to think about a lot of this stuff when you're like,
It is a big decision.
I mean, a lot of it is there, and then some of it is you're going through used kilns and you're like stumbling across things and you kind of make that gut decision of, ooh, this one looks like such a good price, but I don't have a lot of options out there and it's used. Like I feel like I need to splurge for this one where it might be too big of a kiln for you and like you can't utilize it for like what you actually need because it's just so massive
Yeah.
that you're like, I'm stuck with this. And you're like, maybe I'll get to and you get it and you're like, maybe I'll start making bigger pieces. Or like I've always wanted to make bigger pieces. So you get this huge kiln with that like inkling that's like barely a nugget in your head, but it's not like a
Yeah.
driving force. But then you're like, well, now I got to take for fucking ever to turn this kiln on because I just can't make production to fill it, you know?
Right.
And then you're like, it takes up so much fucking space too, you know?
Okay, let's talk about in what universe you should have an oval kiln.
That was going to be my next question. You're running a pottery studio?
Yeah.
Like,
Or
there's no
you're
way. I don't know that an individual, unless you just throw production and you're just cranking it.
Yeah, I think you have
it
to have employees. I think like you'd have to have employees to like and you're making massive pieces, like huge pieces. Like when I was working at Gravesco, like we were throwing like 14-inch bowls on a regular basis, and those all went into the oval kiln. I will say that if you can avoid getting an oval kiln from Skutt, do it. Do not buy an oval kiln from Skutt. Just don't.
Why not?
So the way that this
Or
sorry,
who is a superior one, and then you can compare like why this one over this one. If you've
Olympic
did
is
you have
superior to Skutt.
okay.
So, or I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the Cone Art website anytime soon to see if they have an oval. But the deal with the Skutt is that their shelving system on the very bottom of the kiln is really weird, and you lose like half of your base because there's like I don't know if there's an element in the bottom, but it's super fucking strange how they have it set up, and it wastes like so much space. Now, the Olympic just you literally I had the biggest oval fucking shelf for my
I can't believe that when you said that it's a solid shelf, I was like, how are you still alive? Like picking that thing up, or how did you not like throw your back out? I mean,
No,
obviously you
I
need
put it
somebody else to
in
help you get it in there.
I put it in
Or you
when
did it before you put the ring, right?
yeah, I put it in before I put the ring on. But
You're never getting that thing out once it's put together.
no, and like taking apart that kiln was such a fucking pain in the ass. And I sold that kiln to a lady that I'm pretty sure did not do pottery, like at all.
Oh,
Like she
oh
did, but like
gosh.
she like bought this
You
oval
sold her
kiln.
the kiln that she could never use.
I sold her a kiln that's probably still in her garage, not being used, and I feel bad
Oh
about
my
it. But at the
god.
same time, what else was
You
I
gave her
gonna
a
do?
fucking I think you gave her a fucking deal on it though, because I think you got a deal on it. So
I did get a deal on it.
it was
Yeah,
one of those that she probably couldn't pass it up and
I think
she
I
had
sold it to her for
aspirations.
3,000. Yeah,
I think that was her first kiln too, wasn't it?
yeah, fucking first
My
kiln.
gosh, I feel sorry for her.
Oh, Cone Art does have an oval kiln because Rebecca has
They
one,
do. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at
and
them,
it's
but
so cool.
I only see one of them. Or
It's
one
got a
photo. It doesn't
metal
show me
top.
inside pictures or anything.
It's got a
Does
metal
it?
top, and it's not the like kiln brick. It's like the whole. It's like a solid piece of aluminum on the top.
Yeah. I mean, the roofs of these cone arts look pretty badass. The
Yeah.
lids. I mean, you're talking about the metal casing on the outside, but also the inside lid like looks super fucking legit. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's just on the ovals. The other ones look pretty much the same.
Honestly, I'm on I'm on Sheffield Pottery, and their oval cone art kiln is 7 grand. Is it? Oh, no, it's 7,600, and that's not freaking bad for like what we're working with in this economy. Uh, but
Hmm.
like,
I kind of like
damn,
these. So it looks like the cone art. They have a square, a rectangle shelf, and then two half shelves.
yeah, that's how it works. So it's like two half shelves and then one
Uh,
rectangle in the middle.
in the middle, 21 by 10 in the middle is what this one size is. 21
Yeah,
by 10 and then 21-inch half round.
yeah.
That's a big
And
boy.
I had fucking advancers for that motherfucker.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so studio or people working for you, did did you do everything in there? Did you do bisque fire? I mean, you had multiple kilns, but
Oh, I never. Well, the only time I bisked in the oval kiln was when I had like huge planters that
and
I
what
had
did
to
you have,
bisque.
like 40 of them or something? Like you had a
Yeah,
lot that you
it
actually
was like
needed
a
that
wholesale
space?
order. Yeah, yeah, it was a
Okay.
wholesale order.
Yeah, if you have so much work that you can't fit, if you have more than like two kiln loads worth in your regular kiln of bisqueware, like, yeah, that's pushing it. But hopefully you
Let's
don't
just say
have
this:
to.
if you make planters that are 13 inches wide, you need an oval kiln. Okay, like if you make more than 10 of them in a week, you need an oval kiln. Like,
I mean, that's a good point of people. I mean, what if they get a wholesale order for this? They promise this wholesale order and they're like, my kiln can handle it. But it's like, you're not thinking of the actual space it's going to take to actually get those through the cycle
yeah.
of making to make, like, how much energy are you going to spend electricity wise? Okay. I mean, most of mine is controlled by, like, I only make enough greenware for the shelves that I have available to store greenware and like table space. If that thing's full, like, I'm fucking loading that kiln up. If I need to put a big preheat on it, like, I mean, there's no reason that I should have that many pieces that aren't ready for a bisque. I mean, I'm pretty good about getting it through the cycle, through the bisque and stuff, and just getting them on another shelf. But yeah, yeah, the oval just sounds like a big undertaking.
Yeah.
Konar has these square ones, it looks like.
Yeah, they do.
I wonder what kind of shelves those. I guess those just take square shelves. Yeah, 21 by 21, and then 21 by 10. So it's like two of those half shelves. Interesting. Okay, last thing. Does any of this change if you don't have an electronic controller and you're going with like a kiln setter? Is
Abort,
there kind of a
abort, run away, run
is there kind of a
away.
limit? Is there a size limit where you would be like a little uneasy about using the kiln sitter? Like, would 7 cubic foot with the kiln sitter be a little too risky?
Seven
Because
cubic
I
foot
think
with the
it
kiln sitter.
I think that could
Yeah,
get to a little bit of a risk.
I've had a 7 cubic foot kiln sitter, and it's not that risky. But I will tell you that if you have a kiln sitter and you have a 7 cubic foot kiln, I guarantee you that the bottom is not firing the same as the top. So, because it's not insulated enough. It can't figure its shit out enough to get that insulation going. Um,
Is it just because generally the bricks are not quite as thick?
yeah, yeah. Um,
I feel like a 3 cubic foot kiln sitter is okay.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah, that's like the Duncan teacher kiln that I had. I think if you could almost scoop up a 3 cubic foot kiln sitter kiln for next to nothing, or like less than a couple $100, like
Get it.
for your
Fishing
first
that
kiln,
day, all day, every day.
that's a great first kiln. All right.
Yeah, I'm losing.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm losing.
All right. Big investment getting your kiln. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, going from that kiln sitter to that controller, like it's hard to never go back, but it pays.
It is hard.
pretty
I remember
quickly.
when I had my kiln sitter and I was like, I don't want an electronic controller. These are so unsafe. Blah, 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 blah. And now I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm going to leave my motherfucking kiln.
Set it, forget it.
Yeah.
I remember early days out. I had it in my parents' basement venting out. I would start the kiln at like 4 a.m, wake up, turn it on, go sleep on the futon over in the basement, like on the other half of the basement, set an alarm for 2 hours, wake up, go turn the kiln up a little bit more, turn those knobs, set my alarm for an hour or two, turn those knobs again. I was fucking, yeah.
That was the worst.
What?
It was the fucking worst.
I don't miss those days. I mean, I didn't have as heavy of a workload those days, so it wasn't as big of a deal. But if I had other commitments, it would be kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. For sure. Well,
yeah.
Lloyd is ready to go.
All right. Good luck with those kiln purchases. Look up Hot Kilns. They got all your different kiln bodies and comparing all that stuff if you want to see the ones that we were talking about. You could see prices on there too. They actually list the prices, so.
Yeah, that's nice. It's fucking dumb that Skutt doesn't list their prices.
Yeah. But it could be based on what you have available in your area, and if there's Skutts in your area and people can service them and all that stuff. But all right. Good luck out there. Let us know if you have any questions. I mean, we're happy to answer. I'm sure you've helped a lot of people with questions about kilns and stuff, and like, hey, should I get this or should I not get this, or what do you think about this? So
I've done many Facebook Marketplace searches with people. Yes, I have.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time.
Later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.